So Devolver Digital held their Devolver Delayed Showcase where they went out and said all the games that were initially slated for 2023 that have officially moved to 2024. A very funny, a very satirical approach to what could be some pretty devastating news depending on how hyped you were for some of these games. Like me, for example, with games like The Plucky Squire, which I was honestly looking at as probably my indie game of the year, one of the games that I was super excited to play. And with the news that Devolver Digital moved them over to 2024, I began to think about all the games that got delayed this year, all the games that PlayStation delayed that didn't tell us, games that we would have expected to see in 2023, but yeah, we're not going to see them 2023, or at least in the time that they said that they were going to release. Think of like Hollow Knight Silk Song, again, all these Devolver Digital games. But yeah, I began to reflect on all this and I began to think, man, I'm actually super excited that all these games are getting pushed over to 2024. And I know that's kind of like the opposite of what we're supposed to feel and think when we hear about these games that get delayed. But 2023 being full of so many banger titles, things like Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, all these big blockbuster genre defining games that really don't get as much love or shine as they do in the year 2023 as they probably deserve. And that kind of sucks because I feel like every like 2 weeks or 3 weeks we're on to the next big game right now. And I get it, that's just the way industry is, that's just the way the media is. But I feel like any other year had any of these games released, they would have been touted as game of the years. But because they all released like back to back to back, a lot of people, specifically fanboys, are beginning to like fight amongst each other. No, Tears of the Kingdom is the best, Final Fantasy 16 is the best, Baldur's Gate 3 is the best, Starfield's gonna be the best. All this conversation and chatter about which platform, which developer, which game is the best game overall, and I feel like it's starting to bore me. Like, I want everyone to just like, if you like one thing, that's perfectly fine. You don't gotta like talk down about other games. But anyways, because of 2023 being this such like Goliath year of all these juggernaut titles, I'm so glad that a lot of these titles either had to or decided to move their dates to 2024. And I know it sucks specifically for PlayStation. I know a lot of PlayStation fans are really upset that we're only really getting Spider-Man 2 as like the main first party title, and then besides that we don't really know what the future holds for PlayStation. But I'm happy that if any year PlayStation didn't release as much mainline games this year, I'm glad that it was 2023. I'm glad that we're finally back in a time when games are just coming out guns blazing, and yeah, they are in direct competition for your money, for your time, and for your engagement. I like that because I think it only helps to elevate each developer. If one game is coming out and it's doing this, all developers have to pay attention and say, okay, how can I better serve my audience, better serve my customers, better serve the people excited for my specific game. But with all these banger titles releasing, it does leave the question of which game is going to get snubbed at the game of the year, which game is going to not get as much attention, as much love as it probably deserved from a specific fan base because they're busy playing this game or that game. So ultimately, yeah, I'm very glad that Devolver Digital, that PlayStation games, that a lot of these games that should have released 2023 are now getting pushed to 2024, because I believe in 2024 they have a clean slate to get the love and attention that they deserve, that their fan bases want to give them, and that ultimately the developers want. They want that love, they want the accolades, they want the money, they want all these things that they worked tirelessly for. So if it means delaying it because you have to work on it more, delaying it because it just makes more sense to release it time-wise, whatever the case it is, or why they had to delay these games, ultimately for me as a consumer, I like it because then it lets me enjoy the games that I have now longer. It lets me know that, hey, if all these banger titles all released in 2023, what would we get in 2024? You know, like, I feel like these developers would eventually run dry and we'd end up with that period of time where there is no games. So I like these developers, again, spacing out their time periods, spacing out their release windows, and putting them in places in time that makes sense for their specific games. And again, more time to cook on them, more time to let them sit in the oven, more time to let them come out, finished projects, better projects, and ultimately the projects that we want and have the time to play when they release inevitably. And ultimately, we talk about how great 2023 is. All these banger titles, all these Game of the Year nominees, contenders, and all of them rightfully deserve their time in the sun. In 2024, with a lot of these Devolver Digital games that looked fantastic, looked indie game, maybe even Game of the Year winning type games, alongside Xbox coming out saying that we're dropping things like Avowed, we're probably dropping things like Hellblade, God knows what else Xbox has cooking in the oven. Nintendo Switch 2 probably releasing with a buttload of banger titles. 2024 looks to be another fantastic year. Gaming back to back, 2023 to 2024. I believe we have the talent, we have the games coming out that gets me excited to just let these games come to me as they come. And if games get delayed, so be it, because it's not really hurting me because I have so much things to play now. So if anything, it is doing me a favor by allowing me to have more time to enjoy this specific game and then get properly hyped for when these next games are coming out. All in all, 2023 has been a banger year, and 2024 looks to be another top tier year. I can't wait. I know we're not even like done with 2023 yet, but 2024 sounds amazing, and I can't wait to just check out all these titles eventually. Anyways, you guys, these are my final takes on like these delays from Devolver Digital, from PlayStation, from anyone else who's delayed their games this year. Yes, it sucks. Yes, I want to play games like Hollow Knight Silksong. Yes, I want to play the next like Ghost of Tsushima 2 or Factions or whatever else PlayStation had working on. A lot of these games that coming into 2023 I was very hyped for, but as games kept announcing and releasing, I was starting to shift my priorities around. So now that this weight has been, I think, taken off of me, I don't have to decide to play those games yet because I can wait till next year. Again, gets me more excited and happy for gaming, not just in 2023, but in 2024. I'm gonna leave my thoughts like that. Let me know down below if there's any game that got delayed that can truly just devastated you, and that was the one game you were looking forward to, and every other game can go to hell. Or if you're just like me and you think it's a good thing that these games got moved forward and are gonna be allowed the proper time to cook. With that being said, like the video, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.